Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for taking this time to join us in our Lunch and Learn. My name is Shubert Rodriguez. I'm a software developer and member of the JOBSITY HR department. And it's really nice to have so many people interested on this topic. Talking about this topic, let me introduce you to Michelle. She's an awesome and very skilled QA engineer, and she's working from Brazil. Now, please welcome Michelle, who is going to talk about BDD today.
Thank you, Schubert. Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon for you. I hope you all are okay and well. So we are going to talk about BDD today, and the topic I want to ask you to think a little bit about it before we start it. In your opinion, is BDD a good or a bad guy? Think about it for some seconds. What is your opinion now about it? Okay, so in the meantime, in your dream, when you're thinking about, let me present myself to you. I am Michelle Bortolini. I am a QA lead at JobSitty since last year, and I have been a QA for the last 8 years. One good thing to know about me, I love automation. Is the best part of my job that I like to do. I also like to lead as well. And these are the certifications I have. I put here just because I am a person driven by goals. So I love study for certifications to know more about some topics. I am a pet mom, so I have two dogs. They make my home a little bit more happy. So I put the QR code of my LinkedIn so you can all welcome there. Okay. So now you are thought about if BDD is a good or bad guy for you. What do you think? Let's start. First of all, what is BDD, guys? I think most of you knows BDDs mean behavior-driven development. And one thing that I want to be really clear is that BDD is not an automation tool. You can use that for with automation. Of course, it's great, but it's not. This is not the main reason of BDD. Okay, BDD is a development process, so you need to use that since the beginning of your process of building software. Okay, so you shouldn't use that as just an automation tool. BDD is creating now part of development. Okay, another point I want to bring is focus on building the right software, not build the software right. What is that, Michelle? What is the difference? So building the right software, as the name says, behavior-driven development, I will assure that I'm building the behavior that the user needs, the behavior that the user wants. So here we are really close with that delivery value for the user. Okay, we are not focused on building the software right. What means building the software right? It's like what is the best framework for that kind of software? What's the best practices and this kind of stuff? It's not that this is not important, okay? I'm just saying the first thing I will focus at building the right software is delivering value for my client, for my user. He is guiding me. The behavior he wants is the one I will focus to deliver it, okay? And one last thing is live documentation as a consequence. For this topic, I need automation because when I have a BTT attached to an automation, I can be sure that when my software changes, my automation will change because if not, it will start failing. And also, if I change my automation, I have to change my Gherkin document. So I will always have my documentation up to date. So these are for me the main things to discuss about BDD. This is what it is and what is not. So let me show you now how it works, at least in the process part. So this is the process, the development process without BDD. Okay, so what are the steps? The business owner talks to the business analyst and tell them what they want. The business analyst writes requirements documents, and these documents are delivered to the developers and the testers, and the developers translate it to code, so they deliver the software. The testers can write test cases and test based automation, and after the delivery software, they will test it based in the business analyst requirements. Okay. So here we have the rules, the requirements, the behavior, everything wrote by the business analyst by themselves, and only their vision. With BDD, our process with BDD is the business owner talk with the business analyst. They discuss the business analyst understand what the client, the user want. And in the second step, the business analyst join the developer, the tester, all the developers, all the testers of that team, explain to them what the clients want, what they expect, what the behavior, what is the final the final requirement that you want, like the main goal of that feature, for example, the impacts that it will have in the product, what is more important, what is less important. And they will define the requirement with Gherkin together. So that way we will have the three, let's call three, okay? But of course it's more than one dev and more than one tester in the normally. So they will reunion and get this requirement done together. They will have all visions, all the perspectives. They will discuss the risks. They will discuss the frameworks, the way we are going to do, the behavior we want to have, and we will write the requirement together. What this makes everyone aware what is the main goal of our client and our user, what delivery values for them. And that said, you can, of course, make sure that everyone understood right what the client wants. So there is no misunderstanding. There is no way that two persons understand different things. I am sure you already saw some things that sometimes one understands one thing, another person understands a different thing, and the user wants in a different way. This is really common because we don't discuss them before. We don't talk between the teams. So this is really necessary. So following with the process, the step 3 and 4, the scenarios guide the developers to code. And I also want to point here that can help the developers choose TDD. That is a different framework that's test-driven development. I won't enter on that. But if you have all the scenarios wrote before, it will be easier to you to write your unit test before your code. Okay? The step 4, but it could be, of course, in parallel. The tasks could start automating that feature. They could work to get more exception, for example, exception scenario. Sorry, but you can, like, when you you write your requirements, you don't have to write all the edge cases. You don't have to find all of that. That can be done after with the testers. And of course, I will be updating the same file that the developer is using to code. So the developers and the business analyst will be aware what I am writing. But guys, each team can do the one way. It's just a suggestion. You can, of course, I prefer to write everything together. It's not a problem, really. It's not, but if you want, you can do that. You can use that for automation if you want as well. And of course, after that, we deliver the software, the task that we use, the requirements we wrote together to test it, and for automation. And also we can have feedbacks from integration tools about what passed, what fails, and how much of the feature was delivered, for example. So guys, how it works. So it's really good talking about that, but how make that work? How I write my requirements with BDD? How I put that in automation? So I just want to make sure you understand, guys, BDD is more about process than other things, okay? But I will show you right now how to make your Gherkin file, how it is working, how are the keywords. So let's go to demo time. So guys, I want to show you, before I go to the scenarios, I know who already learned a little bit about BDD, you already saw the feature files with the scenarios. But I want to show you a little bit about rules. So one small thing before we start. This value works for both things, for rules and for scenarios, okay? You can write Gherkin with different languages. I think it's over 70 languages. So you can write that in Spanish, you can write that in Portuguese, English, any of them. And you can look in Cucumber site. I am using here Cucumber, so I'm talking about it. You can select the language you want. So I did that in English, but as I said, I did an example in Portuguese so you can see it. I just used the name of the language, and the keywords of the feature file will be in Portuguese, okay? And of course, the way you write the sentence of that definition could be written in any language as well. So here, the only thing that he is reading in Portuguese that is really important to him are the keywords. This is in Portuguese, okay? So I put here the language is in English. As I said, if I put here, right, English is a default, so I wouldn't need this line if I didn't want, but I put here so you can see it. The feature files, guys, is to define what feature we are talking about. What is the feature we are describing here? So I put just an example. And what I want to show you is about rules. Rules are a way to do that documentation. When you are doing planning, when you are discussing a feature, we have a lot of questions, we have a lot of examples. And these feature files, this way to write features files is to help you to write your requirements, okay? So what is happening here, guys? So the login, the rule, sorry. I put an example here. Login with Google account, okay? And a good thing, this keyword was introduced in 2018, so it's pretty new. It's not really old stuff. And I have the featuring that I want to put, the rule I want to developer, and I have the example. So the rule is login with Google account, and I have two examples: login with Google account, okay, and login with a company Google account domain. Both of the cases, they should be able to log in. So it's the same steps to reproduce. But here I'm just talking to my team and discover what are the examples. So, okay, the feature is login with a Google account. Okay, if I use a Google account, should work? Yes. And if my company has a Google account, but the domain is not like Gmail, for example, it would work? Yeah, it should work. Okay, I will put it here because my devs, my tester, they should know that could be a way to make it work. I put a different example for rules. So forgot password. I have two examples. I could forget my password, but I could also don't remember my own email, the email I use, so I could have both ways. Okay. So this is more for requirement for use during planning, for discovering user stories, going more deep, raising questions. This is not so used for testers, but this is really good to know. It will make your team raise more questions and raise more examples about what needs to be done. Okay, so going forward, let's go to the scenarios. So I create this file as an example as well, guys. I use it Selenium's automation website, not the one for documentation, but the one that we can use it for automation, learn it. So it's just an example. So first of all, feature file, I have a title for that, but just a title cannot describe what a feature is, right? So between feature and background, or even if I don't have background, the scenario, gherkin, cucumber, ignore everything between them. So here is my description. You can put everything here. You can explain with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 lines if you want. It's not a problem. It will ignore it. Okay, it's just a description. So you can go more deeply in your feature file, what it represents, what we expect from it, what is the main goal with that feature. Okay. One more thing that I want to talk about feature file is that shouldn't be so big, because think about user story. So user story should be small enough so we deliver value, but not go a lot of things. You don't have to develop a whole system to deliver that user stories. Okay, feature files have the same meaning. They shouldn't be so big, because if they are so big, they should be broken, because it's really difficult to read, a feature file with 1,000 scenarios. It's really your business analyst, your team will not read it. It's really big. So you have to try break it per user start. So keep that number small of scenarios, but it's not mandatory. I know sometimes there is no way you just have feature files big. It's not a problem, but we have to try keep that small. I try to keep like in a maximum of 20 scenarios per file, but this is personal. It's my personal opinion. Okay, doesn't have any rules about it. Okay, guys. Now going over the keywords of working, I want to explain you a little bit. I will start with scenario. Scenario is all the test cases. Like it's a test case you need to test. Okay, it's really simple. You have a title for that and the steps to reproduce. Each scenario I will execute to one time. The background will be executed before each scenario. So each scenario we will execute this code before. And one thing really important here is that your background will be reused for all the scenarios. So it should be a step that would be replicated for all of them. Okay. And here you can see given. Here I want you to all pay a lot of attention on that explanation, because it took me a long time to really understand the difference between given and when. Given is a state of my user. So my user is in the home page. My user is logged in. My user have a client. My user have a client active, for example. It's a state. It needs to be done before I start testing. Okay, it's a state. I know if you are doing that manually, could create or log in your user in that time. It's okay. But when you start your testing, even manually, that stage has to be done with success. Okay. When it's actions. So my user is in home page. This is a stage. My user goes to clients clients addition, for example. My user goes to feature X. My user goes to log out. My user is doing something. So when is always an action. Okay. Given is always a stage of my user. And given, when, and as you can see here, I follow. Okay, so if I here it's a given. In my scenario, I can start, of course, with one more given if I want. If I have another state that I need to accept before I start this a special scenario, I could have it, but I don't have it. So I start with when. So it's given, when, then. You cannot have given, then, when, them, and given. This is not acceptable. This is not possible. You can do that with the programming language. It's possible, but it doesn't. When you read it, it's not fluent. So that will make the gherkin not good enough. How we are creating a file to make easier to another person, even that person is not technical. They can read it, but it's not fluent. So it's really not a good practice. I ask you to not do that. So you follow the order: given, when, then. The then, of course, like the word says, is the validation. So all the validations goes inside the then. Okay. And two other words that I want to call your attention is and. Is just the same keyword before. So if I have here when and I just say it's when. If it's after a then, it's a then. And just should not repeat the keyword. So that make also the language more fluent. And the but, guys, is the same thing of them, but in a negative. So when I want to say, like I put here as an example, the user shouldn't receive an error message. I could say, it wouldn't be wrong if I say, and the user shouldn't receive an error message. Wouldn't be wrong. But in English, it looks like better. This sounds better when I say, but the user shouldn't receive an error message. I am saying that validation is a negative validation. What is there shouldn't happen. Okay. I want to bring here an outline scenario. This is the one when you want to do a data-driven. So my task will run based on data. So here I have the table. So this scenario will run once per line. So it will run one time with this value and a second time with this other value. And I could have as many lines I want. Okay, this is just an example. And one more thing that I want you all pay attention is about tagging. Tagging is really important, guys. When you are using CI/CD, you are using BDD with automation, it's really important to have tagging so you can run just one scenario, just one feature file. Just you can divide your scenarios. You can like tag it for regression. It's not all my tasks that I run in the regression task. I will run like just the success maybe. So I can have in a tag for smoke testing, for regression tasks, feature files, or I don't know, for high priority low priority, layout types, like it's infinite. You can use the division you want. You can tag your tasks and your feature files. Okay, this is really important. And I just brought this example comment because I didn't find a way to show you in the website I chose. So I brought as an example. I said, you can have many lines. You can also have many columns as you want, okay, with examples. So I could have a them here. I should see the error, and I have this data here, okay? So it's comment here. You can see how it works. So guys, let's come back to the presentation. That is cooking, guys. This is what I present to you is cooking. Remember, it's not BDD. BDD is a process. If you just write that scenarios, of course, it will bring some good points for your team, but you can use it a lot of more. So don't stop there. Don't just write there. Okay, go deep in BDD. Understand that how it works. Because if you put that to run in your team, I assure you, your team and you will gain a lot. Don't stop there. Don't just write Gherkin files. Okay. And I want to remember that for you guys, this is BDD. This is the same slide I showed you before, so I will not go over again. But BDD is the process of delivering the right software, not the software right. Is having a live documentation. Is having all your team understand the same language. Is they talk together, they decide things together, they understand what the client needs. They are not just there writing code or testing blindly. They understand each other. They decided together. They don't understand different things about one scenario. They understand the same thing, and they discuss it there before start coding. So you're not discovering in the end of your process that someone understand wrongly or have like a second opinion about that in the end of a process. You will discover that in the beginning, so you don't lose money. Remember, time is money. So if I find a bug, this is really simple. I think if you are a QA, you normally already heard about that. If you find a bug in development, is X value, the price of that bug. If you find in the staging, is 10 times the X, and if you find in production, is 100. So it's growing. The value of a bug is really grows if you find it in the end of the development process. Okay, so we need to discuss this before. Okay, guys, I'm not saying you shouldn't create your Gherkin files if you are just doing that. I'm just saying, thinking more about that, how we can increase the value of BDD, how we can use that the way it was thinking to do. Okay. So now I want to raise this question again. And now with more information, I want to ask you once more time. So is BDD a good or a bad guy? What do you think about it? Do you think it would work for your team? The team you work together. Remember, don't think about the perfect team. Don't think, oh, in 5 years, maybe it will work. No, I want now, with the team you have, with the job you have, is a good or bad guy. It would work for you. For you as a QA, as a dev, as a business analyst, would work it. Do you think it makes sense? It would increase your value? What do you think about it? So take like 5 seconds to think. Okay, going forward, I will not answer that right now. So let's talk a little bit about automation, because I couldn't just show you BDD and forget about the funny part. I already told you I love automation. So I will show you some examples about that. Let's go to them again. Okay, guys. Here we go again. I did the scenario. I automated just this scenario. Okay, the other ones are with this tag not implemented. So as you can see here, this feature file as a whole will not execute, and this scenario is not implemented. So I put in my configuration that they shouldn't run any scenario with this tag. So this tag will not run. Okay. So where the magic is happening, right? So I write something in English, Michelle, how it's done in code, how it works. Okay. So the magic happens in this step definition class. Here I have the sentence I wrote there, and of course the keyword that represents, and this link. So when I see that sentence, I will execute this code. So here I call the methods I created. Okay, so this is where the magic happen. Okay, and all the validations happen. I want to say that really clear, guys. The validations should be done in the step definitions. If you are using page objects, is that what I use it here? I won't go over here, okay? But if you use page objects is just to interact with your element. So get a value, click in that element, set a value for that element. But it's just that. If I want to set a value, I have to send the value. If I want to do a validation, so my success message is showing, I will go there, see if that element is returning. I will return for my step definition, and my step definition is where I will do the validation. It was showing or not, and I will put pass or not. Okay, this is best practice. You do the validations on the step definitions. I already talked to some QAs that doesn't agree with that, and it's really okay, guys. And the main point we discuss, once I discussed that, and the main point we got is that at least keep how can I say, if you are doing step definitions, do all in step definitions. If you are doing page objects, do all in page objects. Okay, it's not a problem. Have different opinions. Okay, guys, it's really okay. It's great we discuss things. I love to discuss about this kind of stuff. So let's go. I want to debug to show you this coding, how it will work. So I will put a breakpoint in all of my steps to show you it running. Okay, so it will run, guys. Remember in that this flow given because of the background, when, then, and my but. Okay, so guys, let's go to debug. It opens my Chrome driver. And already stop it in a stop or not? No, not yet. So let me see. Okay, Demos God is not helping. Okay, let's try again. And my computer is almost flying here. You know why? Okay, now we go. So we stop it in the first stop. I think I clicked in the wrong button, so guys. So let's go again in debugging because I wanted to stop in the step so you see the flow of the development, how it works. Okay, guys, it's taking too long. I don't know why. Let's say here debugging. Yeah, it's not debugging, but it's running. You can see here. I will show you manually how it works. I don't know what happened. I tried that this morning and worked. So let's go. So what happened here? When when the code run this feature file, when I ask Cucumber to run all my tasks, it will go to my given the first background. So I will go to this code, to the code that mean this part of the sentence. It will execute it. So this will just open the browser and open the URL I want. After that, he will go to when. So this sentence he will execute. So he will execute all these methods. I will open it so you can see. So I execute this code. This means, and the three of them mean this sentence. The user adds a product in the cart. So to add a product in the cart, I need to search the project. I have to select the project and I had to click to add to the cart. Okay, these are the steps to add. Remember, your feature file shouldn't be verbose. So it should be like, I search for the product, I click to add to the cart, I I add a quantity. It should be generic. A user shouldn't have to read like 10 lines to understand the scenario. You can put that generic, okay? And this is really an exercise, guys. This example is not a very good example because it's small and I have to put something really direct, but it's really important. I already have that doubt. Oh, but my step definitions, they are not so generic because I have to put a lot of, I have to call a lot of methods um, um, that I could like use just a block. If I put like a method like add to the cart, I click to add to the cart. Anytime I use that, I will use have the same. I would have the same step here, and I could reuse code here. But remember, this is to make this easier. It's to make the user read that easier. So here, maybe you will have some duplicated code. Of course, you can have methods to help you with that. Of course, page objects already help you a lot. But if you have doubt, remember these should be generic, not your step definitions. Okay. Okay, so he run all these methods. So he goes to the next one. He will run these two lines of code and execute the methods, and of course the last one as well. This is the code flow. It's how it will work. Okay. So this is an end-to-end automation, guys. I am using the user graphical interface. I'm going there, open the site, and execute. I could have, I will pass with that, but I could have that for API automation as well. So let's go to the presentation again. Okay. So guys, frameworks available for automation with BDD. You have Cucumber for Java, JavaScript, and Ruby. You have SpecFlow. It's like a Cucumber, but for .NET. I think they use Cucumber in the background. Behave is for Python. And JBehave is for Java, and Curiosity's JBehave was the first one to 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 start doing that. Okay. Here for API testing, I want to show you this framework. I like it. I already used that. This is rest assured, and it uses the Gherkin keywords to API testing. That make our code really more easier to read. A developer could read that and understand what is being done. Okay, so it's not BDD, but I use a language like BDD to do API testing. Is really great. The framework to that, as I said, rest assured, it just works for Java. But I want to say again, you can use a feature file for API automation. You write it and you put the calls for the APIs in your step definitions. Michelle, my personal opinion, I don't like to do that. I think it adds a lot of complexity to my code, to not a lot of wins. But this is my personal opinion. Okay, you can do that. Really, it's really beautiful to see because it makes that more readable. Okay, and remember, really more readable for non-technical persons, people. Unit test, guys, you can use that. You can use, as I said, BDD can help you develop your unit test better. And here you can have the names of unit tests right with the scenarios that could help the non-technical person, sorry guys, understand better a unit report, a unit test report, for example. They will know what you are testing, not with method names that is really strange for example, business analyst, but you are talking about behavior. Remember that. You are talking about what the client expect for your code. Okay? So here is not a framework. I'm just saying as a way to do it. So guys, the last time I will ask you, so BDD is a good or a bad guy? So guys, I want you to think about it for 5 seconds again. Right now, with more knowledge about it, what do you think? It's good or bad? It's good or bad for you, for your real team, for the team you have right now. Think about it. Okay, guys. So now I will give you my personal opinion. As I said many times in this presentation, this is not rule, it's my personal opinion. It's really depends. Depends on the team, depends on you. Depends if your team wants that, if they will be with you in that process. Because if it's a business analyst bring this idea and no one else helps, it's just had one more process to do. They will not help you. They will not be willing to discuss things. They will not be in the meetings. Meetings are boring, people say. So why they would pay attention to that? What they will want to discuss? If they discuss things, they have to be out of their comfort life. They would be there for more time, because if they don't discuss, the meeting would be over faster. So it's really depends, because of all of that I said. And I think the main point is if your team will be with you. Because if your team are not with you, it will be really difficult to have success with, I think, anything. in QA, talking about QA. Um, and BDD depends on the team be available, talking about that, discussing, be out of your comfort zone, what is difficult. People tend to not have conflicts, and for me, conflicts is great. I love conflicts because make everyone learn something new. When we discuss something, we learn. Every time we discuss something, we learn. So if your team are not with you, what will happen? You will write the scenarios. No one will see that. You will put that in your automation, and I can assure you, BDD in your automation will increase your complexity, so it will make it more difficult, will take more time, and normally the QA already doesn't have a lot of time. So when you add complexity to your code, and you are not going winning anywhere else. If no one is using that scenarios, doesn't make sense. Okay, so if you have BDD, everyone has to be on board. Everyone has to follow that process. Remember, BDD is not having a gherkin file. BDD is a process, and everyone has to be on board. Okay, so before you start using BDD, discuss with your team. See if they are open to that, if they want, if they will help you. Okay, this is the main point for me. But yeah, it will depend. It will depend even if about the process, the software you are building. Maybe it's not a good idea for the project you are working right now. Okay, but BDD, it's great, guys, but just need to be done in the right way. Okay. I put the reference here, and I want to thank you, João Ventura. He helped me in some. We have some great discussions about BDD. He talked to me about BDD in action, this book, and this gave me a lot of information that I didn't know about BDD. So it was great. So the references I used are here. You all can use it, take a look, read it, and I hope you can use that in your process. Okay. So let's go to questions.
Thanks, Michelle, for your presentation. It was awesome. And thanks so much all the people who can join. It was a really great experience for us. Let's go with some questions. So here I have one. So Priscilla asked, it is possible to use BDD with an integration test. Have you worked with that?
Yeah, it's possible. And I just want to make divide the answer, because we can have integration tests as an API test. Yeah, it's an integration, and you could have an integration between like front ends. Integration is really open. I already use it, as I showed with API automation. I use it REST assured with the keywords, but not with the gherkin file. With the gherkin file, I never use it for APIs, but for integration in the front end, I already use it that and works fine, because if it's an integration between two products, for example, you can have both products manager or analyst understand what you are testing and what they should expect from your test.
Thank you, Michelle. Also, we have another one for Arnaldo, who says, "What a beautiful presentation!" And I quote, I just would like to know if there is a way to set up a proxy using the schema you are showing."
Sorry, can you repeat?
Sure thing. So Arnaldo says, "What a beautiful presentation." And I quote, I just would like to know if there is a way to set up a proxy using the schema you are showing.
A schema, when you say schema, are you saying the code? I don't understand what they mean.
Yeah, he refers by the code. He asks about that time. Yeah.
Yes, I had an issue with my GitHub yesterday. I wasn't able to get my code there, but I will work on that tonight, and I will put that online for you guys. It will be public for all of you can see that. Everything there is public, so you can use and run it. Okay.
Okay, so we don't have any more questions about this presentation, so thank you so much to everyone again. It was a great presentation, Michelle. Congrats.
Thank you.
I hope to see you, all of you, next month for the next Launch and Learn that we are already preparing.
And Schubert, I want to say thank you for JobSity, for the space, and for the people that join. And I want to, guys, if you can and you have opportunity to share your knowledge, share it. It's really good. Everyone have something to learn and to teach. This is really a good thing. So if you know something, share it. It's really good.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.